In the 3rd chapter, the 9th verse. In the end, I will turn things around for the people. I'll let that sit in for a minute.
Come on.
I'll give them a language undistorted, unpolluted, words to address God in worship and united, to serve me with their shoulders to the wheel. I want the mature Christian to hear this sermon in light of what has happened in their life. And I want them to hear, in light of what has happened, what you need to happen now. Amen. And I want the young to hear this sermon in light of what is happening that needs to change quickly. Yeah. So I'll title this sermon, Turn It. Just turn it.
Come on.
We all must come to a place of maturity and knowledge that we realize we need God to turn some things around. There's some things we are just stuck with and that are unchangeable, and that is understandable because of the courses we chose and the directions we used. We are stuck with any course of action that we do not give over to God to turn around. So then you have to be willing to say and do things towards God that say and show, I need you to turn this around. In maturity and over time, I possess some knowledge that would have helped me to have lived different. And if I could be young again, then there are some pitfalls and there's some dark places and difficult times that I would have avoided that I didn't avoid when I was younger if I could redo the past. And it stands to reason that if I could redo the past, have stopped the processes of some emotionally debilitating feelings that I feel the residue of right now. If I could be young again, I would have not allowed the first 20 years of my life to become so horrendous that it's taken me the next 20 years to overcome. If I could be young again, I would redo the past. I would have gone right instead of left. I would have said no instead of yes. If I could redo the past, then obviously I could undo the pain that I carried because of my past. And undo the pain of feeling used. And undo the pain that causes me not to trust or be as optimistic as I should be. If I could redo the past, there's some memories I would not have now and feelings. Oh, the feelings. There's some people that I am struggling to forgive, that I would not have to struggle to forgive if I could redo the past and undo the pain of the past. The more of the past that I would change would seem as an indication of how much went wrong in my life. But the irony here is you only now know that you would redo the past because of what you've already been through. God, that's some irony. And it is too late. It's too late Because you can't redo the past. And the reason you would want to redo the past is because of the effects now, but you would not know that you had not encountered those things if you did not go through those things. I know now, but I can't redo it. I can't redo, and I don't have time to try. So I just need God's help to turn it around. So I can undo, and not redo, but undo the effects that the pain has caused. I need God to turn it around. But I know that there has to be some things that I must do. In Zepiniah, the 3rd chapter, it displays that the Lord rejoices over the restoration of people. Zephaniah, a minor prophet of the Lord, shared that God could turn anything around. He says it there in the passage, in the end, I will turn things around for the people. Zephaniah speaks of what the Lord tells him to give the people hope, and it should give you hope to hear that God can turn things around. But more importantly, it speaks to the power our God has to turn things around. See, if you think about it, in the beginning, God entered the darkness and displayed his turnaround nature. He spoke words that turned darkness into light and filled emptiness with fruitfulness. And his power brought order into chaos. Our God, the Creator, turned dust of the earth into breathtaking birds of the air and the beasts of the field. He turned Adam's rib into a helpmate named Eve. God revealed himself as humanity's turnaround God. And ever since that moment, the enemy has sought to turn back what God has destined to turn around. From his first approach to the garden with Adam and Eve, the enemy came to manipulate and try to reverse God's turn. Sin entered and sought to stop every broken life from being restored and every lost soul from being found. The enemy came to steal, kill, and to destroy. But God said, I came to heal, bind, and to restore. God's turnaround power came in the form of Jesus Christ, his son, who demonstrated once and for all that there's nothing that God cannot do to turn around your life. No death, no curse, no enemy can hold back God's turnaround power. You ought to give God praise that you serve a God who has turnaround power. In the end, I will turn things around for the people. Not only does it speak to the power, but it speaks also to the purpose. All right. We are now custodians of that same turnaround power. As God's people, his spirit rests within us. And we are commissioned to work with him to turn our world around. To speak into darkness. Bring forth light. I've been amazed at those who you would think are in the darkness, who have recently spoke up for the light. When you look at a young man, 33 years old, shot in the street in front of his own shop by the name of Nipsey Hussle, and you see that there are young other artists like T.I. and the others that have come and said, no, we're going to pick up the mantle, and like Nick Cannon said, we're going to carry forth his vision for changing his community. The brother was about change. God says, out of darkness I can bring forth light. Yes. To find those who are bound and bring them his gift of freedom. We have been given the authority to turn around injustice with his justice and hopelessness with his hope. Yet often we allow our doubts to question this power and let our fears contain this freedom. We need to see with new eyes the possibilities that our turnaround God can create in places where no one else sees potential. We must seek to be the ones who bring answers where others see only the problems. We need to shake off the complacency that can so quickly enter our hearts and cause us to settle for less than his word promises. There is so much more for life to embrace. So many breakthroughs for you to play your part in. We need a greater revelation of whose we are. And in that understanding, we can grow a greater confidence that we are called for him to do his work. In the end, I will turn things around for the people. And not only does it speak to the power, not only does it speak to the purpose, but it also speaks to the process. I know it's troubling that every time God gives a word, you have to struggle with the process. Turnarounds don't happen overnight. Now, God can give us some suddenly turnarounds. But he doesn't always do it quickly. See, God is committed to staying with the turn until it completely turns around. But he needs people who will commit to the process. God, help me in here. I've seen too many half-built homes, abandoned dreams, and unfinished projects. We embark into the desolate places with an initial excitement, but if our understanding of God is limited, and we do not find a deeper revelation of God's turnaround capacity, our excitement will wane. And when desolation shouts, we may be tempted to reduce our commitment, downsize our projects, and doubt the possibilities. See, we need to understand our turnaround God because he speaks from a turnaround perspective. He may ask for actions that make no apparent sense to where we're currently living, but it makes total sense to where we're going. Good God Almighty. Help me, Holy Ghost. Turnarounds by nature are radical. They bypass nice and sensible. They freak out the orderly. They do not line up with agendas. But turnarounds reveal our miraculous Savior to our messed up world. In the process of God's power, purpose, the process in turning things around, they're all connected together. Because if you look at the text, he says that I will give them a language undistorted. There's a clue. Unpolluted, there's a clue. Words to address God in worship, there's a clue. To serve me with their shoulders to the wheel, there's a clue. The process of what needs to happen for the best conditions for a turnaround is in this text. You have to have a language that's undistorted and unpolluted. Okay, let's look at that. Got to break that down real quickly. A language undistorted. See, if you need a turnaround, what you speak can't be twisted and distorted. It has to be undistorted. Basically, be clear about what you say you want God to do. Lord help me. It requires you to have control of your tongue and your speech and what comes out of your mouth. But he says that has to be coupled with something that is unpolluted. He says, don't allow the language to start from something that's contaminated or corrupted. That's thought and mind. And we know that it happens in the thought and the mind before it comes out of the mouth. So then that means that you have to watch who you let get in your ear. Lord help me here. Eve, if she was here, she would testify to you and tell you, you got to watch them slippery snakes that will come and try to whisper stuff into your ear, because they'll get you off course, because you don't want anything contaminating your positive space with negative thoughts. Lord, help me in here. Words to address God in worship and united to serve with their shoulders to the wheel. He said words to address God in worship and united to serve with their shoulders to the wheel. Yes. My worship then has to be a service that spiritually puts my shoulders against the wheel that helps to turn my situation around. When I'm serving God, that is my worship. When I'm waiting on the Lord, while I'm waiting for the Lord, I am serving the Lord in my worship. And it allows God to help to turn my situations around. How long I serve all my life, but to what capacity is dependent on how long it takes for my thoughts to become unpolluted and my speech to become undistorted. Lord, help me here. The problem is when it seems like it is it's not getting better. And it seems like it's not turning around. You get tired of trying. While you're looking in the natural, you have to know that God works in the spiritual. He works in the spiritual first, and then the natural moves according to the spirit. So you won't be always able to see it before it shows up. You just have to spiritually know it in your mind. So worship helps me and it humbles me to frame life the right way, because I need to get to the point that God is no longer always turning me around, but I'm turned, and my stuff has to be turned around for me and me, not for the stuff. Lord, help me in here. So I have to keep serving Him in worship. I have to keep serving Him in worship. God has to move in us so that we would be the best that He needs us to be, so we're ready for the stuff that He has for us. You have to allow God to turn stuff around while He's working on turning you around. Can I get about 6 people to come and help me? Just stand in front of the altar. I need 6. I need 6. I need you to move. I need you to move. If you can move. 6 people. Thank you. I need you to form a circle. Form a circle. Give a little space in that circle. Form a circle. I need you to understand how God turns things around. We want God to turn our stuff around suddenly and quickly. And every now and then God says, I can't turn it that quick. You can drop your hands a little bit. And God says, I can't turn it quickly because it didn't take you, some stuff you got in took you a long time to get in it. And God says, I have to take my time to get you out of it. And so, when you look at life and you say, God, you're not turning this thing as quickly as I want you to turn it, we don't feel like it's being turned. Lord, help me in here. I'm talking to young people a little bit. But can I tell you how our God works sometimes? Every now and then He turns it step by step, slowly by slowly, and moment by moment. God is turning that thing. But every now and then, I need y'all to turn when I step this way, and I'm going to turn that way. Every now and then, God has stuff that He wants you to have that you're not ready for. And He starts to turn the stuff while you're turning. and is trying to get lined up when God matures you, and when God changes you, and when God fixes you, and when God gets you right, that the space will be open for you to come out and have the stuff in time when he wants you to have it. Can I tell somebody that God is not only turning you around, but God's got some work to do. He's got to turn your stuff around too, so he can get the stuff right where you need it to be. Thank you so much. Is there anybody in here say, Lord, I feel you're turning around moment by moment, step by step. It's your grace that makes you turn it around. While you were going through your past, God was making plans to meet you where you were. So when you look over your life, instead of cursing God, you praise God because it was all a part of your destiny. There's a purpose in everything that you've been through. Lord, help me in here. And there's a purpose in everything you're going through right now. I know that there are times you want God to turn it around now, fast, in a hurry. But hang in there, because sometimes God says, it took you a while, and it's going to take me a little while to work that thing out. When you come out, you're going to appreciate how long you had to deal with it because of what God did for you and how he brought you out. Somebody ought to say, Lord, turn it for my good, turn it for my betterment, turn it for my progress, turn that thing around. So God does, instead of just turning around, he starts taking step by step, experience by experience, turning by turning. It's turning around. But you can't get distracted by the stuff that's turning. You stay focused on your turn. And let God deal with the stuff that needs to turn. Lord, help me in here. Stop worrying about folk that need to turn. Worry about how you need to turn. Stop worrying about issues that need to turn. And say, Lord, help me to turn. And when time comes, you'll come out. And God will work out the time for them to come out. And he'll work out some stuff that needs to come out. God is turning it around piece by piece, inch by inch, day by day. Is there anybody that's in a mess? Is there anybody in a struggle? Is there anybody in a dilemma? God can turn it around. It's turning around right now. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, it's turning around. So I have to say this so I can help you to understand that God can turn it around. It won't always be like this. Lord, help me in here. The Lord will perfect that concerning me, that sooner, come on somebody, or later, it's going to turn, and it's turning in your favor. Look at somebody and say, sooner, or later. It's turning in my favor. It's turning in my favor. It's turning in my favor. Now find somebody and tell them sooner or later. Sooner or later. Sooner or later. Whether it's sooner or later, it'll be when God is ready for it to be in your favor. Can I get a witness in here? I know you might not see it right now. I know you can't understand it right now. But you just gotta believe. You just gotta believe that all things are working together for your good. And sooner or later, he's gonna turn it around in your favor. Don't get weary in well-doing, because in due season, you'll reap a harvest. Look at your neighbor and say, it's turning around. For me, I don't know about anybody else, but I believe God is turning it around. He's turning it around. Somebody ought to turn for the turnaround that God has in your life, that God is getting ready to take you through. You ought to give God praise that God can turn it around, that he can fix it up, that he can work it out, that he can change it, that he can undo it. You can be better. You can be greater. God has something powerful in store for you. It's turning. You may not see it, but somebody can say, I'm better off now than I was then. And God has turned that thing around. show me a little bit now. If you got to save it for later, but that'll just help me to keep my faith and keep my eye on the prize. That you got something that's somebody ought to shout right there. That I can see God working it out now, but he can change it all later. And you have to declare, sooner or later, it'll turn in my favor. Yeah. Sooner or later, turn in my favor. Sooner or later, turn in my favor. Sooner or later, turn in my favor. He's turning around for me. He's turning around for me. It will always be like this. The Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Sooner or later, it's turning my favor. Sooner or later, turning my favor. Turning around for me. I know you can. Turning around for me. I know you can. Understand it right now. You gotta believe that all things work together for the good will, who love the Lord. Turning around. He's turning around for me. Somebody's hand and tell you that he's turning it around. Turning around for me. Just turning around for me. Turning around for me. Turning around for by themselves. God can turn it. All the scores, he can turn it. All the marks that it left, he can turn it. All the time that you waited, he can make up for that time. He's turning it in your favor. I just believe that it's turning around in your favor. Turn it. 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 Come on, give him some praise. Turn it. Come on, somebody who need a turn, just come shake my hand. You need a turn, just come on, shake my hand. Shake my hand. You need a turn. You just need a turn. Hallelujah. He's going to turn it. 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 I'm touching and agreeing that he's going to turn it. He's going to turn it. He's going to turn it. Yes, he's going to turn that thing. He's going to turn it. He's going to turn it. Hallelujah. He's turning it. 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 He's going to turn that thing around. He's going to turn it around. It's going to work in your favor. It's going to work. 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 Give it praise. It's going to work. It's going to work. All the way to your seat. Give it praise. It's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. It's turning. It's turning. It's turning for your children. It's turning for your grandchildren. It's turning for your family. It's turning for your finances. It's turning. It's turning. Just believe. Just believe. Sooner or later, it's going to turn around. I believe it. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and the Holy Ghost, he's already turned around. Everybody stand on your feet.